There is a comforting story we like to tell about geniuses, that their brilliance eventually self-corrects. That reality pushes back. That even extraordinary people are constrained by consequences. Elon Musk may be one of the clearest examples of what happens when brilliance outpaces correction. Not failure, not collapse, but something quieter and more revealing. This is not a simple story, and it does not end with a neat conclusion. If you are here for a villain or a hero, you will be disappointed. If you stay, you will get a pattern, one that becomes hard to unsee. First, let's start with what we know. Musk is exceptionally high in intelligence and openness. That combination predicts original thinking, tolerance for risk, and the ability to operate beyond conventional limits. It also predicts a reduced dependence on social feedback. Highly intelligent, highly open people often trust their internal models more than other people. When those models keep working, that trust hardens. You can see this in the way Musk communicates publicly. In 2018, he tweeted that he was considering taking Tesla private at $420, and that funding was secured. Regulators later said the statement lacked an adequate basis, and the episode ended in fines and governance restrictions. Psychologically, this matters less as a legal issue and more as a signal. It shows a tendency to treat internal conviction as close enough to reality to speak aloud as fact. You see the same pattern in conflict. During the Thai cave rescue, after a public dispute, Musk called a British diver pedo guy. A jury later found in his favor in the defamation case, but the behavioral signature is still there. When challenged, the response jumps from problem solving to dominance. And you see it again in his defiance of authority. In 2020, Musk reopened Tesla's Fremont factory in defiance of local COVID restrictions, publicly daring authorities to arrest him. This was not recklessness for its own sake. It was the belief that his internal calculus outranked external constraints. This is not everyday arrogance. It is what happens when cognitive speed consistently outruns social friction. And once that kind of person succeeds at scale, the psychology stops being internal. It becomes environmental. Most people are shaped by negative feedback long before they reach real power. Peers push back. Bosses say no. Failure is public and humbling. Musk's environment removes much of that. Extreme success attracts three kinds of people: believers who amplify vision, dependents who avoid conflict, spectators who reward spectacle, and a fourth group says nothing because correction carries personal cost. You can see this most clearly after his takeover of Twitter, now X. Within weeks, the company went through sweeping changes and heavy staff reductions. Verification was redefined from an identity signal into a subscription product, triggering impersonation incidents and constant rule revisions. He did this because when you have enough power, you do not just make decisions. You change the rules around the decisions fast enough that criticism cannot stabilize into correction. Then there was the advertiser moment. At a public event in 2023, after advertisers paused spending, Musk told them to leave. Whatever you think of that stance, psychologically, it reveals something important. When correction arrives in the form of consequences, it can feel like coercion rather than information. That is how powerful people can sincerely believe they are being radically honest while becoming increasingly insulated from reality. It is also how someone can believe they are respected, while the real conversations happen only when they leave the room. Now, we do not know Musk's inner childhood in detail, but the psychological pattern is all too familiar. What is often described publicly is an early family environment that was intense, demanding, and emotionally uneven. Accounts suggest a highly critical father and a mother who modeled independence and self-determination. In developmental terms, that combination often produces a specific adaptation. When one parent feels harsh or humiliating, a child learns vigilance. When the other models escape through achievement, the lesson becomes clear. Competence is safety. Self-reliance is survival. When early life teaches that being exceptional keeps you safe, correction later does not feel like guidance. It feels like threat. Musk may have learned early that being clever earned momentary safety, but not warmth. That being impressive stopped criticism, but did not invite comfort. A child like that does not learn how to be held. They learn how to outperform. They grow into adults who are relentlessly productive, unusually driven, and quietly allergic to correction. Not because disagreement is intolerable, but because disagreement still feels like exposure. From what we know of other high-profile examples, if this pattern continues, the most likely outcome is isolation disguised as autonomy. Still powerful, still brilliant, but increasingly alone inside his own certainty. Now, you do not need to be a billionaire to fall into this pattern. Any environment where success is rewarded, dissent is costly, and identity is tied to being right creates the same risk. Families, workplaces, institutions. Genius does not make people dangerous. Isolation does, especially when, from the inside, it feels exactly like success.